Hey everybody, my name is Christian. I've been in golf now for 22 years, playing it, teaching it, and I'm gonna help you with 5 tips to get started by using this 9+9 golf mat. Let's go. So for the first thing you wanna do when you get your 9+9 mat, you're gonna take it out of the box, you're gonna bring it to your range, and the first thing we wanna do is align the mat correctly to a target that you're intending to hit it at. Right, so right now I have my mat listed at that green and white pole, just right of that white flag, making sure my intentions are correct. When you're at the range, we always want to be here with a purpose. We don't want to aimlessly come out here and hit balls for no reason. We're trying to get better, and that's why we have this 9+9 mat. So I have my alignment right, alignment's big, and my first tip for you, whether you're a beginner golfer, intermediate, an advanced golfer, make sure balance is always in your practice. If you can balance throughout the swing, make sure you're transferring the weight over. I mean, it's so underappreciated to be able to fully swing the golf club and finish on that left side or right side, whether you're lefty or righty. But finishing on that lead side in a full swing is so important. I've spent countless hours working on my weight transfer, making sure to get over to that left side. And I think that one drill in particular that I love to do is I will always finish on my left side, and I have to wait for the ball to drop down on the ground after the swing to then take my next stance. So I'm going to show you right here. So we got our mat aligned with our target. We're going to set up to the mat. We're going to get in our stance. And all we want to do here is finish on our left side, and we're not going to take my foot off the ground until I finish the swing and this ball comes back down. And that's how you work on balance. So step number 2 is centerness of contact. We have to make sure we're hitting this golf ball right in the center of the club face, because if we're not finding the center of this face and we're catching the toe or the heel of the club face, you're gonna lose distance, they're gonna go opposite directions, you're not gonna find consistency, miss hitting the golf ball. And the biggest thing in golf is, where's this ball going and how far am I gonna hit it? So the way to figure out and help your centers of contact through the 9+9 mat is making sure that the divot pattern that you make has even sides on both of the target lines. So you see how there's an even spot there on the right and the left side? That's gonna help you determine whether you're hitting the center of the face or not, right? If I wipe this clean, right? If we're hitting it off the toe, your club divot pattern is gonna show a lot smaller side of the divot just above the target line, right? So now we know that we're catching this ball off the toe. If we're hitting it off the heel, the divot pattern is gonna be smaller on the left side of the target line. Tip number 3 is gonna be club path, all right? We need to know why the ball is moving the way it is. Club path is important because you need to know which way the ball is going, how to work the golf ball on the golf course. Knowing where the ball is gonna move on the golf course is really gonna help you score. So with the 9+9 golf mat, you are gonna be able to determine where that club finishes. So right now, we're seeing an inside to outside path, which is gonna move the ball to your left. So using the 9+9 golf mat, you're gonna determine what club path you're swinging on, okay? The goal of this is to understand how we can get closer to that middle plane, right? Tip number 4 is club face. Club face determines where the ball is starting, in what direction it's starting. So making sure we have our club face square is extremely important to the target. We want to make sure this ball is starting on the right line, right? We can swing it as great as we want to swing, but if the ball's not starting where we want it to, it's not going to produce better scores. We need to make sure the club face is square to the target. So when using the 9+9 golf mat, you're going to be able to understand how square the club face is through impact. If the club face is square, you'll see a nice thick divot pattern throughout the strike. If your club face is closed or open while striking the golf mat, you're gonna see a lot more of a narrow, uneven strike. One drill I always use when I'm practicing is understanding where the club face is in a really, really small, compact swing. Making sure I rotate through this position is gonna help me understand, okay, am I closing the club face? Am I opening it? At this position, toes should be up or pointed a little down to create a square club face. So from here, all I'm worried about is rotating through the golf shot. So what I do is I set my hands, now I just rotate through. And that's how you're gonna create a much more square club face throughout your impact so you can start shooting better scores. Tip number 5 is hitting the golf ball first. We need to hit ball first before the turf to ensure compression so that we hit that ball solid and as far as we want to. Compressing the golf ball is huge because we need to ensure consistency in the trajectory of the ball and the distance of the ball. Using the 9+9 golf mat is gonna easily tell you whether you're hitting ball first. The divot pattern should start on or past the center point, or where the ball lies. That is gonna ensure that you're hitting ball first. If you're not hitting ball first, you are gonna see the divot pattern start way behind the center point, which is gonna lead to inconsistencies and chunked shots. Thanks for joining me today, guys, and here's a summary of all the 5 tips we just went over. Number 1, balance. That's gonna help us throughout the whole golf swing. Number 2, centerness of contact. That's gonna really take your game to the next level and get you striking the middle of the club face. 3, club path. That's gonna help us learn how we're moving the golf ball in the air so we can get out of trouble and hit better shots. Number 4, club face. That's gonna determine where our starting line is so we can start going after those pins we want to. And number 5, hitting ball first. Making sure we're hitting ball first, then turf, so that we can strike the ball with compression and consistency.